Well, good morning, everybody. We'll start in about 2 minutes here. So I'm just going to type a nice little message into our box here. I hope your day is going well. I slept in late this morning. So if I look a little bleary eyed here, that's the reason. We were watching Super Y in the other room. And I have a theory that Wooster, their little dog, actually is the one that does all of the magic things that solve all the problems on PBS Kids. Looks like a beautiful day out there. I wouldn't blame anybody for not doing the live stream here and just running outside because it's so beautiful out. We maybe need to have a contest to name our friend here back behind me. I'll take uh, I'll take suggestions in the chat box if you would like to do that. Okay, it's 11 a.m., so we will get started with this live stream. And the first thing I want to touch on is some breaking news, and the breaking news is as of I saw an article from the Detroit News this morning at 10:25 related to Governor Whitmer and what she has decided for schools this year, and it's what we all thought was going to happen, which is that Governor Whitmer is closing the schools for at least physically for the rest of the year. This is not a big surprise. I think it's kind of what we expected, and I know even Governor Whitmer wants to do a 70-day closure from here. She's having some difficulty with the legislature in terms of that, but she definitely did announce this morning in a statement. Hi, Hannah. How's it going? Yeah, if Hannah just jumped into the chat box, and that's probably the best way to talk to people here. And if you want to ask questions as we go along, I'll definitely take them. But again, Governor Whitmer, as of this morning, has actually closed the schools for the rest of the year, and so that means that we need to go full force into this digital learning because what she also says in the statement is that schools need to go towards the virtual learning so that we don't just completely stop there. Hi, Evan. How's it going? I hope you're making use of this time well. I'm sure you are. You have all kinds of tech projects all the time anyway, so this is probably a glorious thing. You'd love my house. I have like 200 computers that I sort of mess around with and put different operating systems on, and I've been trying to get my kids up with that. I know, Evan, if you don't know, Code Academy has free pro licenses going on right now. So Code Academy, if you're interested in learning how to code, actual line coding for computers, Code Academy has free pro licenses going on. So that's actually I just started my son with that, and so that's something that you can do. Again, Code Academy for anybody who wants to do that. But just to continue on with the Governor Whitmer statement, she has closed the schools, at least physically, for the remainder of the year. Tonight, there's going to be a big town hall meeting that all of the Detroit stations are going to be broadcasting with Governor Whitmer, and she's going to take questions from the news reporters, but also questions from the general public. So if anybody wanted to try to get some questions in for Governor Whitmer and you want to ask her about kind of what's going on, that's one option for you. If you just go to any of the Detroit TV stations, there are ways to input your questions for her, and it should be interesting tonight to hear what she has to say about things. Now, since the last meeting we've had, since our last meeting here, there have been a number of things that have happened. We had a virtual staff meeting on Zoom, which went really well, and so we got a little bit more idea about what the expectations are from the school for us as teachers, and so what they want us to do is to at least once a week create a YouTube video to give guidance to students for that week in terms of what they want to learn. One is a bare minimum. I intend to go, almost every day once we go full force into this, and it could be, some of it could be this a live stream. Although I'd like to even have a little more interactivity with students. I mean, the chat box is nice, and we could do it that way, but I think once we get down to like a core group of people who I know are going to be interested in doing this over the long distance, we can start to get into Zoom meetings where we're going over specific things, or I can even teach subject matter to you guys over the live stream. I think that's something I'd like to do, and I have some ideas I'll talk about later, in terms of what the core curriculum will be going forward for the rest of the year for each of the classes. I have some ideas, and then there's one class I'm still kind of working on. But so one expectation is that there will be video content created by teachers as we go forward, and that's going to be something that's required. We also will be setting up office hours. So as you have issues with things that you're studying and learning, you will have access to your teachers. Now, every teacher is going to have to set it up in their own way, and but they're and I'm going to try to set up like a phone system. I know we can do with Google, get a fake phone number and have someplace for you to call me. We also can do individual Zoom meetings if you email and do that, and so we can have some interaction here. Speaking of which, I know Hannah, you had a question on my YouTube video about the Sophia courses. We had talked in the last video about Sophia.org, and Sophia.org is a place where there are a bunch of classes in there right now, which I think you guys could do if you wanted to. If you have extra time and you want to do this, it's a place where you can actually get credit recommendations from an organization called the American College of Education, or American Council of Education, which is actually the governing body for colleges and universities in the country. They have a transcript service where you can get credits put onto there, and so those Sophia classes would be put onto that. And Hannah's question was, what colleges would these apply to? And there are about 150 to 200 colleges that do accept them. The ones close by would be Central Michigan University. Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, just for fun. Yeah, Hannah says in the chat box that she just started an English composition class, which is kind of fun. Now, what's cool is they actually will grade and analyze your writing. So even though it's a free class, there are people there within their organization who will assess your writing, which is very cool that you have people giving actual time for a free course. And so even if the credit thing doesn't work out for you, I think you still will learn from that. And the great thing is that they do actually have people who will grade them for you, and that's a pretty impressive thing for a free class. But the colleges close by that accept these sorts of things: Central Michigan University, Tiffin University in Ohio, Baker College, which have Baker College has campuses across here, but there are about 200 colleges that really accept them, and then there are other ones where you can kind of negotiate with the with the group there. In the underneath the discussion section, underneath that last video, I did put a link in there with the kind of I don't know if there's an official list, but the list of colleges that normally accept these things, and then there are other ones that sometimes accept them and sometimes don't, and so that's something that you could do. But again, back to the original thing. We as a school, we're going to be providing services for students who are learning at home, and so we'll be providing office hours, so times in which you can be in contact with us, and that will be available to students who want to contact us with questions and with learning. We also will be providing, I'll get you a phone number, but the core way to communicate is still going to be the email through school. We're going to try not to reinvent the wheel. And if you have any questions, I do check the email, at least daily, and I'll even do it more than daily as we go forward. The expectation, the official expectation, is that next week is still the scheduled spring break, and so the super official start will be the week after that. But I think I'm gonna start doing things next week, even before that. But again, the state does expect teachers and schools to continue to provide learning for students. We, in terms of, I know this morning I got an email from Mr. Guerra asking about the Chromebook availability and Chromebook resources that we have as a school, and I know he's asking that because he's looking at whether the students have devices, and if they don't, the school's going to make some effort to get devices out to people. Jordan is asking a question here. Can we hold on to the school books, or do we need to return them to the school? Oh, at this point, you hold on to them, keep them. There's going to be actually there's going to be stuff that the school is going to be trying to get out to you guys, especially in terms of devices. The school is going to try to provide devices where possible when people need them, and the books especially. You don't need to return them right now. It'll be at the end of the school year, because if you're if you want to continue to learn with the books and go through the material that we haven't done yet, I mean, that's ideal, actually. So if you have the book, you're kind of at an advantage, and I want you to keep those books because there is a potential for people to maybe use those, and so you hold on to them, and if you want to, try to learn from them. Now, in terms of so devices, if you're in need of a device, let me know, or let somebody at the school know that you need devices for working on your work, whatever that work is, and we'll try to get devices out to you because that's something that the school is now going to be trying to do. And I also have devices. The school has periodically recycled devices and computers and Chromebooks and things, and I'm kind of a dumpster diver or for those things, and I have dozens of devices that, if you need something, let me know and I'll set it up for you. And even if it's just at the Monday food distribution, I'll get devices out there for people to use if you need it, because I have them, and there's no sense sitting on them. If you need something, I'll just give you something and you can use it. And so now, in terms of grading, during our staff meeting, we officially got word that basically your grades can go up from here. They can't go down. So going forward, I'm not going to be assigning things for grades going forward. But if you're somebody who is, again, in a situation of failing, or maybe you have a C in the class and you're an A student, anything that we've done up to this point that hasn't been turned in yet. And so that's for civics class. I had students go working ahead for 3 chapters. For my English classes, I had when we left, we were just about to turn in an original short story, and then we were going to work on a book report. If you're in that situation, I will still take those assignments, and you still should turn those in. And I will then go back and fill in any point values that you're missing in the class, because we want to make sure that the work that you're doing right now does help you, and I can push your grade up. Now, for some students who are already doing very well in class, well, I guess you're going to try for 100%. I mean, if you're sitting at a 93, 94, I will credit the work, but there's not, I can't give you an A plus 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 plus. I mean, I suppose I could try, but I will. I do want to value your work and give you grades for that. But the grades can only go up, and so that's what you have to understand going forward with this. There were some questions last time. Will there be a graduation? There's Mrs. Barker, who's in the cafeteria, and of course AJ is her daughter. She says, well, whatever we need to do, we're going to have a graduation. So for our seniors, I think that the feeling within the district is that we're going to do whatever we can to have a graduation, and it might be in the summer sometime. It might be the world's most interesting graduation to have a July or August graduation if we get past this. It might also be something very, very different from what we do normally. I mean, normally we have a graduation in the cafetorium, and we might have it on a football field, or even Mrs. Barker posted the other day about a drive-in, where like an old drive-in theater graduation where you're in your car, which I'm not sure if that would be the best, but there's going to be a graduation sometime. So and I would even think if we get past some of this social distancing thing, there might be a way to have a prom that might be a little different as well. But I know they're going to try as hard as they can to try to do those things, because you guys do deserve that if you're a senior and you're going to graduate. Just a couple of things. When we do start back up with the classes, and again, I'd like to start fleshing that out next week. I'm going to for the civics class, I am definitely using the Michigan virtual civics class. So if you're a civics student, we're definitely using that, and we're going to do units 5, 6, 7, and 8. So again, 5, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to type in the chat box here the web address for Michigan Virtual, where you can find these things. Give me a second. Be kind of in 2 places at once, but we're definitely going to use that curriculum for the civics, because it's perfectly aligned. I think I said that before, but we are going to definitely use that one for the civics class, and really anybody who wants to work along with me in any of this stuff, you're welcome to do it. I am going to start to split the video chats according to class, so that I can cover the material for each of the specific classes. And again, I'm totally fine with anybody who wants to do kind of any of the stuff. If you want to learn along with me, this is the web address in the chat box there for the civics class, and that's the one that I'm going to use for that. And we're getting into the branches of government in civics. And there's actually a pretty interesting topic right now with the way that government is working, or maybe not working right now between the states and the federal government. This is a massive lesson right now that we're experiencing in federalism, because we can see that the states have certain powers in our current situation, and then the national government has certain powers, and they don't always come across, and getting them to work together is pretty interesting. So that's something that And we're doing. I'll put this in here. Units 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's what we're doing for the civics classes. And there is a very there's a sign in for parents on that. And so if you want to start to get a jump on that, start to work on at least get yourself signed up so that you can look at that. For the English classes, my 10th grade English, we're going to start to read the book The Red Badge of Courage. And we're going to do that particular, the Red Badge of Courage. It's about a soldier in the American Civil War, and the soldier's experience as he becomes a new soldier and fights. And I picked it first of all because it has been a part of our 10th grade English curriculum in the past, but more importantly, it's a public domain book, which means it's free. It's more than 100 years old, and so it's past copyright law, and anybody can use it for free. And what this means is that people can download copies for free legally. And so everybody out here, I'm going to give you the best link is actually Spark Notes. Spark Notes, which is sort of a version of Cliff Notes on the computer, has the full text. It's 24 chapters, and the full text is on the Spark Notes. If you do search for Spark Notes, Red Badge of Courage, then the full text will actually be there. There's like a little folder symbol up on top, and it has all 24 chapters. And so I'm going to use that. The other beautiful thing is that there is a free audiobook version of the Red Badge of Courage. So you can read a chapter and then you can actually listen to the chapter again, and that will help you learn. And then also within Spark Notes, here's a beautiful thing that after every chapter, there's a unit quiz or there's a chapter quiz. And then there's a final book test built within Spark Notes as well. So just by having a computer there, you now have the full text of the book. You have an audiobook version of it. We have quizzes that assess your knowledge and understanding for each section of the book, and then we have a final test online there as well. And again, I can't use this for I can't have specific grading because of the technology situation. I can't require that people do this work, but I can give positive points to people who do it. And I think that's fair because we have a poor internet access in the district. Let's just say that there are people with satellite internet that doesn't really work very well, and then there are people who simply don't have internet, and so it can't be a requirement that we have. I see Ms. Krieger has. I only have one of Jordan's book, but I've used one of the other teachers' history section to learn the Roman history. But there's not much on Greece and Athens history. Yeah, so yeah, I'll be working to get supplemental information on classes out to you guys. I'm going to be doing normal teacher things and getting you materials to help you have your students learn what we would have learned in school, at least in modified version. And so I am assuming no books for my classes as we go forward here. There may be some chance for us to get books out to people through the circle, the food distribution circle, but I'm not banking on that. And actually, I kind of feel at this point that's all bulky and logistically difficult, and I'm just going to go with materials that are online and free and accessible to anybody who has an internet connection. And so, but the books still are good if you have them and you want to use that as the basis of learning for yourself or for your family or student for the rest of the way. They are, great books, right? And you can use them, and we don't need them back right away. Probably in June sometime we'll try to get them back. So I would ask you then, actually, if you're in the English or even if you just want to read the Red Badge of Courage with us, because I will be teaching that. And again, at this point, I don't even particularly care if you're in the 10th grade class. If you just want to read the Red Badge of Courage with us, and you're looking for something for your students to do during that time, I start looking at it. The Red Badge of Courage Spark Notes. It has the text in there, and just at this point, start clicking around and get familiar with it, and then we'll start next week. Probably next week, we'll start the actual learning of that material. There's also one other thing that I want to alert you to, and that's EdReady in Michigan Virtual. EdReady, they have EdReady English classes. They basically, EdReady is a program that Michigan Virtual put together to try to work on people's math and grammar writing skills. And so there's like a math ed ready for each grade level, and then there is English ed ready for I think they have eighth and ninth grade, and then they have 10th through 12. And the goal of ed ready is to get people up to the math and the English language arts skills that they'll need to enter college. And but the good thing about, and it's free. It's like the other Michigan virtual classes that are free. The one good thing is that they have a diagnostic test at the start, and so kids can go in and take the diagnostic test, and then the computer, the program knows what you should work on, and then they sort of build lessons for you so that you can practice your English language arts and also math going forward. And then by the end of it, supposedly you know all the grammar and language or all the math, you'll need to enter college as a normal student there. So I think that's a really good thing for the grammar piece and the writing piece in English. And So I would definitely look at that for if you're kind of trying to piece that part in, because again, it gives you then feedback and scores and things that you would need. Now I would open the floor for questions. That's all the actual information that I have for today. That's my little list that I made. But again, I would open for any questions at this point that you have going forward. I think we're going to start. We'll do another one of these YouTube live chats on Monday, and it'll be more specific to how I'm going to divide the stream and start working ahead in terms of each specific class. So Monday, 11 a.m. is going to be the next live stream. But next week, I'd also like to try some Zoom sessions so that you can start to see each other a little bit. And so I'm not sure. I haven't really actually run a Zoom session myself before, and I may need email addresses. But I know you guys have been in here pretty consistently, and so I'll definitely get if we do a Zoom session, and we will do Zoom sessions, I'll get your emails to request you to be in there so that we can actually start to get some dialogue and chat back and forth, and you can see each other's faces, which I think will be a good thing. So again, are there any questions that you have for us before we end today's Zoom session? I know there are also my seventh graders with their seventh grade history, where we're going to focus on Greece and Rome, ancient Greece and Rome. Those things are. I haven't found anything just yet that I think is perfect for us to go, but I'm looking, and I'll look over the weekend as we get some more, and then also for the radio class that I have. I don't know. Have I? Oh yeah, okay. Evan's in here, so well, I think that we're gonna have to make that one up as we go along a little bit, but I will try to get some more topics out for you to do some broadcasts on your computer. I mean, could be as easy as doing some YouTube videos or some audio recording and production. But we'll try to get some topics for you guys, and then some other supplementary work on the radio. And I'm still kind of working on that. But again, for the civics class, the Michigan Virtual Civics class is what we're going to use. And then for the English classes, I'm going to work on the Red Badge of Courage, at least for the first probably 3 weeks or so. And that's what we'll do. Well, I don't see any questions in the box, and we're kind of getting up to 30 minutes here, which I think is enough for today. But I want to thank you again for joining us for today's live stream. Our next live stream will be Monday at 11 a.m. And so join me again at this particular site on that. And have a great weekend, and keep on learning. Thank you.